Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to Elite Raceway. I am your host, owner, and commentator for today, La Rodri. Uh, Looking forward to this race here with Tier 2 in the legendary Silverstone circuit, birthplace of F1. And of course, since we're here in the UK, I expect the drivers to have their teacups out and pinkies up while fighting at 200 miles an hour. Or actually, shame on me, actually. I should probably stick with the European metric system. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, that is 300 kilometers an hour, I believe. Unfortunately, I'm not European, but yeah, we had a fantastic race here on Saturday with Tier One, hosted by our other commentator J Dog. And if you haven't yet, try to give that race a watch and give it a like. We always appreciate the support. But while I can't quite deliver my commentary with his charismatic Australian accent, I'll still try my best to catch all the action here today with Tier 2. But a little bit of a change of pace. So Kyle, our mate Kyle, not in his kick sauber today, unfortunately delaying the lobby a little bit. So we will be seeing him in the Red Bull since that is what the game has put him in as we readied up. But we do already have quite a few drivers already out, so we'll be taking a look at Kovacs, who I believe was the first driver to be out on the track. And about Silverstone, 5.89 kilometers, 18 corners, classic circuit, does have a thrilling mix of sweeping turns, long straights, a few punishing heavy braking zones. Um, and I think it's actually quite notorious for its unpredictable weather. I'm not exactly sure if anybody has mentioned yet how it is going to be, but if you have met a Brit, as I have as well, you'll know these guys are just like their personalities, biggest mood swings to give you a whiplash. Although I am Latina, so I have been told I am the same way. But well, let's see, we do have Kovacs finishing up Sector 3. So Kovacs in the Haas. And we do have quite a few new drivers as well. We have Phantom UNX in the Alpine reserving today, as well as the other Alpine Oliver Monster. And I believe we had one more. That is Daji Bobs in the V Carb. And as I say that, Kovacs crossing the line on 128.6. And let's see who is tailing right behind them. I think that was there we go, the Ferrari of Hafrenix, so 128.2. And also our returning reserve as well, Snacks Jr. Always happy to see a fellow friend back here with us. Looking forward to see what you do today. I know you had a little bit of unluckiness last time, so hopefully this race is a lot more better. But yeah, I do honestly love this track. Let's see who else is out. Yes, we do have El Capitan. But regarding the track as well, lots of opportunities for overtakes to DRS zones, one that we just saw El Capitan go through as well. Um, Personally, I believe safety cars are quite. I wouldn't really prepare for a safety car on this track just because there's so much runoff. But of course, you never know. Um, Especially on that last corner where El Capitan went. Uh, that final corner, a very easy corner where we have seen a lot of drivers actually lose traction and go straight into the barrier. So something to keep in mind. And as El Capitan was finishing up his lap, was able to put in a 127.6. And I do wonder what happened to Kyle, who has retired. Not sure if he retired or DSQ'd from the session, but probably looking for a last to first challenge. Actually, very humble from Kyle. I'm looking at the Discord chat, deciding to stick to the back since he wasn't able to join his actual car, which honestly I would say it's not a bad idea considering P2 Garen Vitek, who is actually a Red Bull driver, is up in front. So yeah, a little bit tricky situation. They did suggest kicking you out. However, of course, EA, if I kick you out, you won't be able to join back in. And so So yeah, looking forward to see how you do from the back all the way to the front, hopefully. But we do have quite a number of fast times. Unk Production putting in a 127.1, only a tenth away from Garen Vitek, and 5 tenths away from his teammate. Honestly, the McLaren is doing really well today. And it is round 7 of 12 here in season 5, halfway point of the championship. So every point is going to matter. Kyle is leading the standings with a total of 179 points. The McLaren duo of El Capitan in second, 129 points. Unk Production with 119 points. So it's going to be an interesting battle. We do have Kyle and Unk Production who were on the podium last week on Australia. So we'll be able to see what they do today. And Phantom unfortunately invalidating. Magus and Beckett's a very difficult part of the track to really keep the car within the limits. Let's see if anybody else is out. I believe Snacks has started his in Sector 2. And speaking of the McLarens, they are leading the Constructors' Championship with a total of 223 points. Right behind them, the Saubers of Kyle, who you can't tell here, but Kyle and Juez. Right behind with 215 points, and the Red Bulls of Garen Vitek, I believe high RPM, unfortunately sleeping in today, not able to join in, sitting with 196 points. So margins are very close. Every single race is going to count. So let's see, Snacks crossing the line puts in a 128.4. So very, very close times from what we can see on all the deltas. See Kovacs going back into the pits. And Turbo mentioning that he hates this track. How can you hate this? It's such a classic track. But but I will agree. It is the tire wear. I will tell them. I did race in Tier 1. The tire wear is a tricky thing to handle. Mediums, I believe I did 12, 13 laps on them. They were already at 70-ish% in tire wear. So yeah, you have to be a mega tire whisperer. Let's see, I believe Guardians. Is Guardians setting his lap? Yep, he has started his in Sector 1, is up by 600ths on his time. So we still have 8 minutes left on this short qualifying session, followed by, if you're new here on the channel, a 50% race distance. If I'm not mistaken, that was 26 laps, I believe. I'm gonna have to take a double check on the Tier 1 race, even though I raced it. Let's see. Oh, yep, it was 26 laps. I was taking a look at the Tier 1 commentary. But Guardians going around the final corners now, finishing up Sector 3. Mahasne crossing the line up ahead, puts in a 126.8. So really phenomenal lap by Mahasne. Guardians crossing the line, pushes himself all the way up to P7 at 128.5. And I do see Snacks on the live chat also mentioning you have to sing a lullaby to the tires. Yep, yeah. I do like that. We do have our top 4, it seems, putting in their outlap. I believe that is Guardians going to be the first driver to cross the line. It is up by a 10th. So Garen Vite, really careful on the throttle right there, is going to cross the line, puts in a 127.1, does improve and is able to put himself up to P2. Right behind him is Unk Production, who seems to have improved as well, is finishing up Sector 2. And so on production, improving as well, a tenth on his time, and I believe El Capitan, his teammate, right behind him as well, up 3 tenths. So it's gonna be a really, really interesting finish here between the two McLarens. We have seen a bit of a mix between teamwork and battling between these two. So on production, returning back to P2 at the moment, 126.8. El Capitan going to cross the line puts in a 127.2. Does improve, but unfortunately not enough to make any movement on his position. We do have more on VTech right behind as well. Isn't able to improve. Let's see if anybody else is out. And it does seem like we do have Oliver Monster, who has possibly put in a purple second sector. I know sometimes the game isn't able to really depict an accurate display on the times, but Oliver Monster, ooh, a little bit wiggly on that exit right there, but is going to cross the line, puts in a 120.2, does improve by a position. Oh, and also welcome back to Dob Walters, who did mention he was on a break from F1, has returned today for a race. And from what I do see from, I believe it was Guardians or Halfernix who mentioned, I believe it was Guardians actually, but I think it is going to be a dry race. Pretty sure a lot of the drivers are praising the skies, happy that it's not going to be raining. They Let's see, we do have more on one. Goes a little bit wide, is going to go back into the pits. And ooh, that is Phantom, who has gone into the barrier. Exactly what I was mentioning earlier about that final corner. If you are too much on the throttle, you are going to be going into that barrier. He does have the Ferrari right behind him. I think that was Halfernix, who was on starting his lap. So I do wonder if that may have affected his start. It looks like he is trying to improve still. He hasn't backed out. So Halfernix in Sector 3. We'll take a look if he's able to improve. Not far off from Guardians. Only 200ths off away from Guardians this time. Oh, going wide, and unfortunately that is not going to help him. Is down by 4 tenths. So unfortunately, doesn't look like he's going to improve anything there. But ahead of him, he does have Guardians in the Mercedes starting his time as well. Guardians up 400ths. Only a tenth away from Kovacs, so very, very close times. Anything is going to make a difference. Going to have to memorize all the names of this track. There's too many names in every corner. But let's see, Guardians up 2 tenths, so that can possibly move him to possibly P6. Has to be really smooth on the throttle here. It does have a little bit of battery left to use. He did do a really good job on Tier 1 reserving, so I think he has a little bit of a taste of what to expect on the race, but does manage to to move up to P7, not far off from Hulkenbro, who is only a tenth, less than a tenth away. So we do have Kovacs right behind him, who might be improving as well. And we do have Broom, who had also just crossed the line, did improve, moved himself to P6. Kovacs finishing up sector 2 and going a little bit wide right there, doesn't invalidate yet. And might have cost him a bit of time, is only up by 7 thousandths. And it does seem like we have the McLaren of Unk production who is on his hot lap. And that is Kovacs going back into the pits. Doesn't look like he is going to improve there. So as I mentioned, the McLaren team has been very close throughout the season. There has been teamwork, however, there has been a bit of battling between those two. On production going a little bit wide, and looks like he loses time. Does have a few cars right there, right in front of them. Both of them doing pretty well to get out the way. I think one of them was actually his teammate, but on production, is he going to be able to catch a little bit of the time that he may have lost? So on production, going to cross the line, isn't able to improve. We do have both Garen Vitek, El Capitan, and Mahasne who have also started their lap time. And yeah, I do agree, Mini Tony. The mid pack is super close. I mean, only a tenth, probably less a tenth, dividing them, and Garen Vitek actually up a tenth. And as I was looking at him, Oliver Monster, our reserve for today in the Alpine, moving himself up to P6. So Garen Vitek going around the final corners, has to be extremely cautious here. Crosses the line of 126.8, super close to Mahazne, who looks like he will not be going around for another lap. But I do believe El Capitan is putting in his lap time at the moment, so we will be taking a look at him to see if he is able to improve and possibly pass his teammate in position. And so El Capitan crossing the line at 126.8. It's a 300th off of Garen Vitek. And looks like we do have Pues as well crossing the line and validates there on the final corner. And so it does look like that is going to be our group. Mahasne going back into the pits. I will say, Kyle, you are fast, so be extremely careful with the rest of the grid up in front of you. Remember, some paces are different here. Alrighty, so this is going to be our starting grid heading into Silverstone. So we do have El Capitan starting on pole position, a phenomenal lap by him. Right next to him will be Garen Vitek in the Red Bull. Following right behind, we have Mahasne, Unk Production, Moron 1, Hulkenbro, who phenomenal job putting himself up to P6 for the start. In P7, we have Snacks Jr., right behind him, Oliver Monster, Vroom, Guardians, Kovacs, Hafrenix, Phantom, Dob Walters, Juez, JT Turbo, Dodgy, Eingel, and Kyle starting from last, looking to do a last to first challenge possibly, or even the driver of the day challenge. You never know. I have faith in him. But we do have quite a few new drivers here today, so I do hope that they have read the rules regarding the no readying up. Snacks, I would recommend you next time try going to the bathroom before, not when you're on the grid. Um, yeah, because you never know. You never know if they'll ready up by accident. But But yeah, really looking forward to seeing how this race goes. We did have a quite a mix of strategy calls from mediums to hards, hards to mediums in tier one. Uh, on production saying it is it must be the water for snacks. Yep, I have no comment. But yeah, like I mentioned, I mean, safety cars, I personally I feel like they're very rare on this track, so trying to extend those tires as much as you can, tire whisperer as Snack says, sing them a lullaby to make sure they last a good while on the track. But let me just take a quick look at the Discord chat. And as I believe I mentioned earlier, I think it was Guardians who stated that it is going to be a dry race, so I'm pretty sure we're not expecting any rain. Uh, try and just look for something on my Discord chat. Snacks, just remember to wash your hands, yeah? Ay, ay, ay. As I mentioned, Tier 2 is the class clown of the league. I do enjoy their chats. Quite a funny group, so love these guys. Alrighty, so they do have the ready up. So Chernobyl, I hope it's not Chernobyl. Snacks, I hope scolding Chernobyl, even though this is not even his tier. Snacks, I hope you're back. Alrighty. And people saying that his Snacks' bathroom break was faster than Ferrari's pit stop. You know what? I do agree. As much as I do like Ferrari, yeah. I think Kyle can agree as well. Alrighty, so they do have formation lap on, so they will be going around one lap to get those tires warmed up. And I do see we have quite of some more people on the stream as well. 18 viewers, I will say, welcome. Hopefully, you guys enjoy this race, and if you're ever interested in joining, we do have the Discord link on the description, or if even if you want to just cheer on your friends. I know a lot of drivers they have their friends and family join in, so big welcome to you guys. But I do see, I believe it's JNB8 saying what a good qualifying session. I do agree. Very, very close times. And our good friend Alex Cargo, who had the win on Saturday with Tier 1, who got promoted to Tier 1, rightfully so. So, always nice to see you on the chat. And I know you mentioned a while ago that you were interested in co-commentating. So I have gotten the capture card. I have gotten my OBS thing all set up. So I haven't really felt confident yet to really use it. But here's hoping for the next few races, possibly tonight with Turtle Commander to hopefully guide me with the OBS streams and everything. But then we'll be able to have a co-commentator here with us on Discord because unfortunately I'm on PlayStation. But yeah, looks like so it looks like JNB8's rooting for El Capitan. I do agree, El Capitan, a really phenomenal driver. So We are excited to see how he does. The McLarens, I'm a little bit of a McLaren fan myself for the past quite a number of years. Um, so I honestly, even in real life and virtually, I do like to see them on the podium. But let's see, El Capitan lining up on the grid. And looks like the grand majority of the grid actually starting on medium tires. We do have only two drivers on the back starting on hards. That is Daji and Kyle. So those are our only two drivers on the hard compounds. I will say those hards are quite horrendous at the start, so it will take a while to see them really kick in, but looks like the lights are about to go out. That is 4 lights, 5 lights, and off they go. And is El Capitan going to have a really good start on production, doing a really good job to get past Mahazne? Mahazne, a little bit of a slow start right there. Garen Vitek trying to make a move on the inside there on turn 1. Unfortunately, no move yet. Snacks dropping down a few positions right there. But looks like up in front, we do have the driver just staying right behind. Vroom, I do believe, is dropping down quite a number of positions. I do wonder what happened to him there. But El Capitan doing a really good job to stay ahead, it seems. And both the Aston Martins right behind each other. Looks like we do have a little bit of a gap behind from P15 to P16, a bit of a 4.2 second gap right there. Kyle moving up quite a few positions, has moved up from P18 to P12 now. And Unk Production looking to make a move on Garen Vitek, not able to do anything yet. So slow and steady does win the race at times, so a bit of patience is required at times. And it does seem like Mahazne possibly looked into making a move, chose to back out. On production going a little bit wide right there. So let's just take a quick look at the position changes. So El Capitan and Garen Vitek doing a really good job to stay in the same position as they started in. A few drivers moving up in positions. Kovacs up 4, Kyle up 8 now. Looks like he has gotten the pass done on Juez. I will say his call on starting on the hard compounds was a pretty good call right there. However, DRS is enabled now. Daji picking up a 10-second penalty now for speeding in the pit lane, and is unfortunately going to retire from the session right there. So on production, closing in on the back of Garen Vitek. Is he going to make a move? No. Does have the next DRS zone. However, Garen Vitek is still less than a second ahead of, behind El Capitan. So he is going to get the DRS as well. And it does seem like that is yellow flags. I believe that might be the V-carb of Daji, who has retired in the pits. Unfortunately, typical EA, letting the car out. And is that Hulkenberg who has lost positions right there, dropping down to P14 now. Up ahead, we do have a little bit of movement, it seems, between Oliver and Guardians. Kyle up now to P10. Is he going to look to make a move on Guardians? Trying to go for a move on the inside, holding his line. Both of them doing a really good job to give each other the space. Kyle going for the switchback now, and is able to get the move done on Guardians. However, Guardians is going to get the DRS off of Kyle there. However, I believe Kyle has closed in a little bit to Oliver, it seems. And Guardian's going a little bit wide right there. And let's see, do we have any deltas closing in? Whew, Unk Production getting super close to the back of Garen Vitek. So I will say it has been a really good start for a grand majority of the drivers. Let's see, back to the position changes. So Kyle up 10 positions now, is a man on the mission. And Garen Vitek still unable to make a move on El Capitan, who is defending quite well. Both of them, it does seem like they are on equal battery right there, but looks like we might be having a little bit of movement in the back as well. I believe that was Quest getting the pass down on Snags. I will say there is quite a lot of action happening all at the same time, so if I do miss your overtake, I do apologize, but I am keeping track on the movement from the grid. So a nice bit of a DRS train, it seems, from first to fourth, and we do have a little one also from P6 down to P10, and I believe that might have been Garen Vitek trying to make a move on El Capitan, now going on the outside, and is El Capitan going to be trying to defend that position? So Garen Vitek able to get the move done. However, El Capitan is going to get the next DRS. However, he goes quite wide right there. I do wonder if he got any track limits. Right behind Mahazne now getting past his teammate Unk Production. And El Capitan trying to get that position back, is able to get the move done on Garen Vitek. I do feel like it's going to be a little bit of a switch around between these two for the next couple of laps. I do wonder when Mahazna is going to try making a move, unless he's probably waiting for one of the drivers to make a mistake. And I am keeping an eye also on Kyle, who is currently in P8 now. Garen Vitek is going to get the DRS on El Capitan, however, he is quite far back to make any move. And now Kyle closing in on the back of Kovacs, the two media team press members. So if Kyle does manage to make it to the podium, I'm gonna have to ask him how did it feel getting past his staff mate. But oh, Kovacs going extremely wide right there, and so Kyle is going to get the advantage. Ooh, very close between those two. Yeah, I'd be terrified of going side by side on Maggots and Beckett's, and ooh, Kovacs a little bit of unsettlement of the car right there. But Kyle now getting the move done. Another overtaking, just 2 overtakes in 1 lap. Now up to P6. And Unk Production now pick up a 3-second penalty, and as that happened, Oliver as well, cutting the corner right there. Doesn't pick up a penalty, but it does seem like in the back, Hulkenberg getting past Phantom. Hulkenberg did have a bit of an unlucky start, losing quite a number of positions there, but managing to, at least to get P12 at the moment. Up ahead, it does seem like Garen Vitek closing in on El Capitan. So on production, even with the 3 seconds, does have Moron 1 5 seconds behind him. So he does have a pretty good gap as long as he doesn't make any mistake. Garen Vitek going a bit wide right there. I believe that is the second time he's gone wide, so I'm not exactly sure how his race director is, but personally, I'd probably think he is close to probably getting a track limit penalty, but of course you never know with EA. So I will say those mediums, I believe by lap 7, they were probably at possibly 30% tire wear, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. Obviously, every driver is different. I'm not exactly a professional myself, so just technically why I shouldn't be in tier 1 sometimes, but but let's see. Garen VTech still within less than a second behind of El Capitan. Not close enough to make any movement yet. Garen VTech still holding on though. On production now less than a second. Sorry, more than a second behind of Mahaznan now, dropping back a little bit. So I do wonder if he is starting to struggle with those medium tires. He is down by over a second. He possibly might not be getting the next DRS there. And so, yep, on production, 1.2 seconds behind Mahazna, so he is out of the DRS train. Garen VTech still holding on to the back of El Capitan. Mahazna on the back of Garen VTech. See if we have any movement in the back. Kyle closing in on the back of Mon1 in the V card. So as I mentioned, the hard compounds, in my opinion, I did do hards to mediums. They do start feeling obviously a lot more comfortable afterwards. The mediums wearing down now, and Kyle getting the advantage, moving up to P5 now. And looks like up ahead, Garen VTech now pushing Mahazne out of the DRS. So it is going to be between El Capitan and Garen VTech now. It does seem like Mahazne is catching up a little bit. I did see the Delta drop back. However, he's still holding on for dear life on to keep up with them. Let's see if there has been any major position changes. Kyle now up 14 positions, so he is definitely going to be aiming for that driver of the day. However, I don't want to jinx Kyle. He is known for surprising us a little bit on the spins, the occasional spins. Although maybe he's feeling a little bit more comfortable in the Red Bull than he does in the Kick Sauber. But let's see, Garen VTech closing in a bit on El Capitan. And ooh, it does seem like that is yellow flags. That is the Mercedes of Guardians. Had a bit of a car unsettlement there, but he is back onto the track. Let's see, we do have Phantom, our reserve driver in the Alpine today, looking to possibly make a move on Hulkenberg. And are they going to pull a bit of a Max Verstappen and Hamilton movement? No. Both of them still trying to defend the position. Hulkenberg getting past. Honestly, not a bad idea. Phantom is going to get the DRS on this upcoming straight. But does he have enough battery to pull himself through? And looks like he is. Gets the overtake done and is going to push himself up to P12. Hulkenberg trying to defend that position. They both do have room right behind them. And oh, Hulkenberg thought about making a move on the inside. Does well to brake appropriately right there. And ooh, as I say that, Unfortunately, Hulkenberg having a bit of a spin. Still a good catch, I will say, not doing a full 360. But Vroom able to move up a position now, moving himself up to P13. Up ahead, I believe we have Quest closing in on the back of Snacks Jr. And it does seem like there was a bit of a mistake from one of the Alpines. And oh, that is Oliver. But some contact between Oliver and Vroom. And he is slowing down. I do wonder if he has damage, or Vroom has damage too. So let's see, Oliver still trying to make a move, and oh, some contact between both the Ferrari and the Alpine. And it looks like we do have a few drivers who have opted to pit. Snacks, Hafernix on production now, and Garen Vitek choosing to pit. So that has moved Kyle all the way up to P3 now. He is on the back of Mahasne. So Kyle does have those 10-lap-old hard compounds. Mahasne with the 10-lap-old mediums. Those mediums most likely not feeling the most comfortable. And so Garen Vitek actually coming out ahead in the pits in P7 at the moment. I believe he did get the pass down on Phantom. But Kyle closing in on the back of Mahasne. Is he going to be able to make a move here in Sector 3? They do have the ghost car of the lapped Williams of Angel. But Kyle closing in, still not able to make a move. Mahasne was lucky to get the DRS from that lapped car. And oh, Kyle going a little bit wide right there. And I do believe we had a few drivers pick up the 3-second penalty. Phantom picking up a 3 seconds. On production picking up another 3 seconds. So that's 6 seconds in total for the McLaren. Looks like Mahasne getting the move done. I believe that is El Capitan opting to pit, is coming out soon. So Kyle closing in on the back of Mahasne, still not able to make a move yet. I believe Garen Vitek now coming out right behind of El Capitan. Oh, and I believe that is yellow flags. I might be the Williams of Angel. Yeah, that is the Williams of Angel, who a little bit of some unluck right there. We do have two battles happening at the moment. Kyle on the back of Mahasne and Garen Vitek on the back of El Capitan. Is Kyle going to be making a move on the inside? Looks like he is, and oh, I wonder if that was some contact. I didn't exactly see contact right there, but it might have been. Kyle tried going on the inside, but looks like Kyle is going to be going right through. Mahasne choosing to pit now. Those mediums obviously not doing him a favor. But as that happened, El Capitan actually dropping down to P8. It looks like we do have a bit of a battle between the two McLarens, and ooh, a little bit of a touch between Unproduction and the rear of El Capitan. So a lot of drivers are having to deal with the the ghosted car of the lapped Williams, but I do believe Unk Production did get the DRS off of that lapped car. It is going to help him pull or stay ahead. So again, Unk Production does have that 3-second penalty, so I do wonder how much he's going to be battling his teammate. So Kyle, our only driver who has yet to pit, did start on the hards, is dealing with 12 lap-old hard compounds. So El Capitan still holding on in front of his teammate. On production did get the DRS, however, not close enough to make any movement yet. I do believe in the back we do have snacks on the back of Happernix. And Mahasna actually letting them through. I do wonder what happened right there. If he picked up any damage or... Yeah, not exactly sure what is happening with Mahasna, or... Although we do sometimes know that possibly in real life they had something to deal with. Mahasna now picking up a 10-second penalty for exceeding track limits. But yeah, Mahasna dropping all the way down to the bottom. And on production, a little bit wobbly right there. Has dropped back quite a bit from his teammate. Kyle has pissed. I do wonder how or where he is going to come out. He has had a phenomenal race, really climbing up the grid. And we do have the two McLarens going around at the same time as he's coming out the pits. Let's see, where is he right there? So the McLaren's going through. I do think he is going to come out right behind of Unk Production. Oh, a little bit wobbly right there on the on the pit lane exit, but landing himself up to P4 does have a comfortable lead ahead of Moron 1. And looking at the Discord chat, I do believe that Mahasna mentioned something, so he did spin in the pit entry, missing his braking. So very unfortunate for Mahasna dealing with those 12 lap old mediums. Unfortunately, a bit of quite unlucky there, switching over to the next compounds. But hopefully he has better luck next week. But we are going to be keeping an eye on the delta from Kyle and Unk Production. Kyle, 4.6 seconds behind of Unk Production. We do know Kyle has the pace. Unk Production does have the DRS from El Capitan. And as we mentioned before, Unk Production does have those 6 seconds penalty, so Kyle can possibly look for a possible podium finish. But Unk Production battling his teammate is going to get up a position, gets the overtake done. Absolutely love the chrome livery. But Unk Production crossing the line, puts the fastest lap of 1:30.4. And Garen Vitek, quite a comfortable gap, 4.2 seconds ahead of Unk Production. So Hafrenix closing in on the back of Snacks is going to get the DRS. Does have a bit of battery to use. Snacks not really going to defend that position. Hafrenix getting the overtake done, moves himself up to P6 now. On production, still less than a second behind of his teammates. Snacks possibly trying to fight the move again. Let's see if we have any movement in the back. Juez holding on to the back of Phantom, less than a second right behind. He is going to get the DRS on at the end of Maggots and Beckett's. And Kyle now putting the fastest lap with the fresh mediums, a 128.8. So if it stays like that, he will be getting those 2 extra points. We'll take a look at the position changes again. Kyle now up 15 positions. Hafrenix up 6, and let's see, Phantom up 4, Juez up 5. A couple of drivers who have lost out a little bit in this race, but still hanging on. So El Capitan closing in a little bit on Garen Vitek, now has lowered the gap to 3.1 seconds now. And we do see on the straight, Kyle now approaching the 2 McLaren teammates. Now less than 2 seconds, so like I mentioned, Kyle, a man on a mission. Again, Kyle is on those fresh mediums, 3-lap-old mediums. The 3 in front of him with 6, 7-lap-old hards. And does seem like that is yellow flags. I believe that is still the Williams of Eingel in sector... I believe that is sector 3. And now Kyle 1.4 seconds right behind him on production. And it does seem like that was yellow flags as well. I can't really tell. I believe that is the Mercedes of JT Turbo, who has turned the car into a lawnmower, but is able to get back onto the track. Luckily, no harm to the vehicle and to other drivers. And as we were looking at him, Garen Vitek now picking up a 3-second penalty. So El Capitan with a possible win. However, he does have Kyle closing in right behind his teammate. Is now less than a second behind of Unk Production. So I do wonder if Unk Production is going to be trying to defend for his teammate, or how is this going to turn out? And quite a few drivers now, a bit of a raining penalties over here. Hulkenbro picking up a 3-second penalty. I believe that was Turbo as well. Pick up another 3 seconds. Production is going to have Kyle right on the back of him, and not really enough space to really defend the position. He is going to defend the inside line though, but Kyle, ooh, a little bit of contact right there between Kyle and Unk Production. So we still have Kyle trailing on the back of El Capitan, 1.3 seconds now. Garen Vitek still trying to hold on to that lead. However, he does have that 3-second penalty. El Capitan within that penalty gap. There are 6 laps remaining, including this one, and it has been quite a really close race. Kyle really putting on a show today, and honestly, it really shows why he is our. Oh! I take it back. I take it back. Kyle now pick up a 3-second penalty. I apologize, Kyle. Oh man, let me get the camera off you, yeah? Oh, looks like we do have looks like that was more on one who had a little bit of an unsettlement of the car, dropping down a position right there. Hafrenix now up to P5. And it does seem like all that battling has helped the top 4 to really extend that gap, 19 seconds ahead of P5. So El Capitan, honestly, all El Capitan has to do is just not pick up a penalty in these next 6 laps. I mean, of course, you never know if they are able to appeal those penalties. However, if I were him, I'm the type to really keep it safe on the track and just do as much as I can to not really battle it. But El Capitan's still doing a really good job. Is closing in the gap from Garen Vitek, now 1.1 seconds behind of Garen Vitek. Although Kyle is now less than a second behind El Capitan. And on production actually dropping back quite a bit now, over 3 seconds behind of Kyle. So it is going to be a battle for these top 3. The commentator's curse is real, I will say, man. I do apologize, Kyle. Let's see, Kyle closing in on the back of El Capitan. El Capitan still staying ahead. I believe he did have quite a bit of battery left to use on that straight, even without the DRS from Garen Vitek. But Kyle still trying to look for a move to do on the McLaren. And Kyle trying to go around there on the outside, isn't able to get a move done. And we do still have Garen Vitek over a second ahead of El Capitan, so he isn't going to get the DRS on this next upcoming straight. Kyle with a really good exit right there is going to be able to get the move done on Capitan. And now Garen Vitek losing a bit of time right there. Kyle now less than a second behind of the Red Bull. I will say I hope no safety car comes out, because the 2 Red Bulls and the 2 McLarens are right back to each other. Looks like we do have a little bit of movement happening in the back as well. Vroom moving up to P10, getting the pass done on the kickstopper of Quest. So again, Kyle does have those 7-lap-old mediums. I do wonder how they are feeling at this point, or how they'll be feeling at the end of the race. But Kyle, ooh, going a little bit, taking that corner a little bit wide right there, but still able to stay right behind Garen Vitek. And it does seem like we have a short gap from Moron 1 and Hafrenix as well. Phantom now pick up a 3-second penalty. So we'll take a look at the penalties. That is Garen Vitek, Kyle, Hulkenberg, and Turbo with 3 seconds. Phantom and Unk Production with 6 seconds. And is Moron 1 looking to make a move on the inside? No, it's going to stop right behind. Stay in the same position up ahead. Kyle is less than a second behind Garen Vitek still. And yeah, so Candy Dreamer asking why Kyle isn't in the Sauber today. So he joined the session. So I'll get back to that. Garen Vitek now pick up another 3 seconds. So that is 6 seconds for Garen Vitek. So Kyle possibly able to secure a P2. Of course, anything can happen in these last 3 seconds. El Capitan still holding on to the back of Kyle. Going back to the reason why Kyle isn't in the Kick Sauber, he did join the lobby. Unfortunately, didn't choose the car, and it was already 5 minutes past due for the lobby. So I did have to initiate the timer for everybody to get the race going. So yeah, so he is stuck in the Red Bull today. So I'm pretty sure he's still happy because I know he absolutely hates the Kick Sauber. But which is actually partially why he decided to start from the back. But but yeah, Kyle right on the back of Garen Vitek. Snacks now picking up a 3 second penalty there. And ooh, is Kyle going to try making the move on the inside? Both of them giving each other the space. Kyle trying to go for the switchback. Unfortunately, a little bit of a tap right there, but no harm, no foul. Kyle is going to get the DRS. Not a lot of battery to use, however, he does have the DRS. Looks like he is going to be able to get the move done. El Capitan still hanging on right behind. So as we mentioned before, again, we'll keep on mentioning it just in case those who join in back and forth. Kyle does have those 3 second penalties. Garen Vitek 6 seconds. El Capitan with no penalty at the moment. So El Capitan possibly looking for a possible win. Ooh, Garen Vitek going a little bit off track right there. So I think it is going to be really close at the end. I don't see any movement happening in the back. Actually, I take that back. Phantom now closing in on the back of Quest. And as I switch over to him, going a little bit wide. Get the cameras off these guys. So El Capitan just has to stay within those 3 seconds of Kyle. Kyle does have those mediums, those 10 lap old mediums. And as I mentioned before, for me, the mediums by lap, I did 13 laps on the mediums. They were already at 70-ish%. The hards weren't so bad. So I am interested to see how Kyle is going to hang on till the end of this race. A bit of movement happening in the back. Garen Vitek still able to get the DRS from Kyle. Kyle extending the gap a little bit right there, but Garen Vitek and El Capitan still remaining less than a second between each other. So they are going around the final corners to start the final lap. And Kyle a little bit wiggly right there. And so what can make Kyle do on this final lap? He does have Garen Vitek right behind him. We will put the penalties on the final lap for everybody to see how close these drivers are going to be. El Capitan still holding on to the back of Garen Vitek. I really think El Capitan can get this win. As I mentioned, I'm always happy when I see a McLaren on the podium. If they get a win, even better, but no biasness here. They are going around Maggots and Beckett's, and all three of them staying less than a second behind each other. El Capitan not yet picking up a penalty, has to make sure he takes these final corners well and on remaining on the track. So Kyle on track, going to get the win is if he's able to stay. Ooh, that's the Williams. Oh my goodness! So that was the Williams going, having a little bit of a spin right there. But Kyle, on track, winning it. However, with the penalties, he is going to lose out. El Capitan for the win, doing a phenomenal job not to get any penalties in these 26 laps. And see, we do have a little battle between Moore on one end, Hafernix. Looks like Hafernix is going to have the upper hand. Kovacs less than 3 seconds behind of Snacks, who does have that 3-second penalty. So Kovacs is going to get that position up to P7 now. And do we have any other movement happening in the back as well? No, looks like that is going to be our final. Yeah, looks like that is going to be the final results. But Kyle up 17 positions. Honestly, a really great race by him. Happy to see that he had a really good race and honestly extending his championship gap. Um, El Capitan right behind him, if I'm not mistaken. I believe I mentioned. I'll take another quick look. Yeah, El Capitan in second in the standings, so another great job by him to try picking up those points, try capitalizing as much as he can. Um, and the McLaren's also as well, getting those points. But yep, that is round 7, halfway through the season. So really great job by these guys. We'll be going around the final race results. And yeah, well deserved driver of the day for Kyle. Honestly, a really really good job by him. Uh, so we will be going over the final race results. We have El Capitan, our winner today, doing a really really good job, starting on pole, finishing for the win. Right next to him, sharing the podium, that is mate Kyle, who also picked up the fastest lap at 128.8. Those are extra 2 points for him. And in third position is Garen Vitek. Those are our 3 podium runners. From P4 all the way to the bottom, we have Unk Production, Hafernix, Moron 1, Kovacs, Snacks Jr. Always nice to have you back, Snacks. P9 Hues, Vroom, Oliver, Guardians, Hulkenbro, Phantom, Dov Walters, Turbo, Angel, and our only two DNFs, that is Mahazne and Daji. Mahazne, not exactly sure what happened to him. I think he was a little bit unlucky going into the pits, but honestly, really good job from all these drivers. We are looking forward to seeing how the second half of the season goes. Next week, my least favorite track of all the calendar, Hungary. So, yeah, definitely prepare for that race, you guys. I wouldn't be surprised if it's raining. I absolutely hate that track. But yep, after this, we do have our Gnosis Division 1 group in about an hour and 15. That will be hosted by me, La Rodri, with Turtle Commander 7. So feel free to give a like and subscribe. And if you catch us up later, we look forward to seeing you on the chat as well. And if not, then we'll catch you guys possibly next week or even on Wednesday with our Gnosis Division 2 group. But everybody have a good night, good morning, good evening. And to all the drivers who are on the chat, big thanks to you guys for participating with a phenomenal race. We did thoroughly enjoy that. And yeah, we'll catch you guys afterwards.